Okay, right. So I guess seeing as it's the first time we're doing this for the podcast, we should probably explain how the series works. So for the one listener out there that's putting up with the crappy internet and dodgy microphones and all that, this is Discog's Discussions, and it's a series we've come up with which explores the discography of some of the best and most influential artists in rap and hip hop. And for the first edition, we're going to talk about Kid Cudi. How it works is, so prior to the recording, we separate an artist's career into three eras. So for Cudi, era one is 2008 to 2011, era two is 2012 to 2015, and era three is 2016 to the present.
Yeah, so my pick from era one is from Man on the Moon. It just makes the most sense to go for that. I was going to go for Man on the Moon too, but I feel like I should go with the first Kid Cudi song that really gripped me.
Easy. This is Easy Sunday morning, and we're right here on a beautiful morning in Cleveland, Ohio.
Man played the whole track.
You had to play the whole track because he's at the end. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
I forgot that he was at the end of this track, if I'm honest. But Higher, man.
After that.
Higher is, I don't know, that song makes you feel high. That song, for me, gives an example of the best of what Kid Cudi can do. Kid Cudi can do that all day. And it's just dreamy and, I don't know.
Quintessential stoner music.
Yeah, it's enchanting what he does there. Then he gets into that deep little bag where he's doing all the quick little flows and stuff. Amazing.
He caught a mad flow. I wasn't expecting that.
Nice. I wasn't expecting that. Okay, well, my pick, I've gone all the way back. I thought, because we're talking about Kid Cudi and his career and everything about him to date, I thought, why not start with where he's from? So my pick is Cleveland is the Reason.
I forgot about that mixtape, man.
Same.
Yeah, likewise.
So partly the reason why I went for that one was because I had a feeling you wouldn't go for a track from that project, so I thought, well, let me just put something in. But also, do you know what it is? As I was listening through it, there's obviously better tracks that Cudi made around that time, or things that you would call sort of, classic Cudi and whatnot. But when I was just sort of doing the research and whatnot, all the talk about Cudi and his influences, about how he, influenced his generation of emo rappers, and he was very vulnerable in the lyrics and spoke about mental health and that. But I was thinking, I remember Cudi having fun tracks, stuff you didn't really need to think too much about. And that to me is the perfect, well, not the perfect, but one of the great, just laid back, chill, fun Cudi tracks. And the beat is
enchanting. Again, it's another moment where he's riding a type of beat that I don't think most people could really do that on,
Catchy hook, melodies. Don't get me wrong, the bars aren't the best, but it don't matter. He's having fun, isn't it? And Theo, you can tell me about this because I know you're big into your basketball. I know, Sam, you like it too. But have the Cleveland Cavs, have they ever played this song on a walk, when the players come out, or for a
probably not
promotion for the team?
Probably not. The time this would have come out, they weren't playing rap music to walkout songs.
Exactly.
It was a lot of whatever the music. They weren't playing rap back then. They started playing rap 2010 forwards.
Yeah.
I feel like this would have been a good sort of build-up song for the playoffs or something.
Is Theo drinking wine?
Yeah, of course.
What is he, Drake? Man said he needs a glass of wine by sundown. LOL. But yeah, no, I completely forgot about that whole mixtape, to be honest. I'm looking at it now and I remember Maui Wowie was my favourite off that.
Yeah, that's a fun track. That's another one. Pillow Talk as well is good. And there's other examples on there that you would say, oh, that's classic Cudi, like Man on the Moon and stuff.
Cool. So, like you all, I've gone for a song that was on his first album, and it's stuck with me ever since I listened to it. And that song is Cuddy Zone.
Why Cuddy Zone?
Me, I like going into a zone, and with that song, I don't know, everything about it makes you feel like you're on a journey, like literally to the moon. you feel like you're in your own zone, excuse the pun, of the track. But even the lyrics and everything around it, he's finding his happy place, and he says like when he's in his mind, he's in his zone, and that serenity that he gets and that happiness when you're in a zone, and I can relate to that because when I'm in my zone, that's me. I'm just
So what you're saying there is when you're in your zone, you feel like, ooh.
literally, literally.
I can't sing like that, but you know, I tried.
No, but that's what but that's what's so amazing about it. So had to be that song for me.
Comments from anybody else? Sean looks like he has something deep to say.
No, I was thinking it was. I was thinking, it's quite a personal choice for you. You know, I didn't know you like that song that much.
Oh yeah, no, I love it.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where there's a lot of examples where the hook especially is quite what's the word? Hypnotic in a way. Takes you into, like you say, a different zone and whatnot.
Yeah, 100%.
There's so many classic Cuddy records on that first album. Second two, but the first one.
Well, to be honest, his mixtape is actually the thing that made him blow up, because Day and Night is what popped off.
Yeah,
And then there was that big remix that was done over here that went insane.
Rubbish.
Yeah,
But I remember that everyone liked the remix, but I was like, no, the original song's way better. It gives you a different vibe, like.
Yeah.
yeah.
And the original aged way better as well.
Oh god, I don't even think I want to listen to that now. But it was good for parties. You know, it was nice to hear a little bit of rapping going on in the parties.
Okay, we come to Kieran.
Yes.
It's hard because like I feel like his most famous songs are like the Nightmare tracks on Man on the Moon 1.
Yeah.
And actually one of them really stuck with me in like re-listening recently. So I was going to pick it, but I think I've changed my pick just because we didn't get anything from Man on the Moon 2. So I felt like that deserved a bit of credit. I was originally going to... What are you going to say?
I won't lie, it was tough to not pick a lot of Man on the Moon 2, because I listened to Man on the Moon 2 a lot.
Yeah. So my original pick was going to be Alive Nightmare, because I just like Kid Cudi's weirdest songs, and I think that is a really weird song. But instead I'm going to pick Mr. Rager. I'm off all day adventure. Yeah, I think that just because I think it's arguably one of his best songs, just composition wise and everything.
No, definitely. It's the producer. The guy is Emil something. He did a lot of stuff with Cuddy on his first album and on this album, but I like his style on this as well. Like it's kind of that. It sounds kind of like XX, like how their first album sounded. That kind of like lo-fi, very simple, but then it builds nicely to the chorus. I really do like that song.
Yeah, it's like the cross with hip hop as well just completes it all. It's also like really rocky with that bass line as well.
100%.
I love that.
100%.
Just to go back to the XX point, he was quite influenced by a few of the bands around that time, wasn't he? And MGMT, Vampire Weekend.
Well, yeah, he collabed with them on his first album, so he's one of those people that wasn't afraid to not genre hop, but definitely like to try, you know,
blending them.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect blend. Yeah.
But that's one thing you got to give him is I don't think you can really put him in a box, you know, confidently. There are so many different styles and influences and whatnot.
You said earlier, Sean, about the whole emo aesthetic and that type of thing. That is what that is that kind of, even the chorus, he's almost technically screaming, like that type of like shouting thing. It can come off pretty shit sometimes, but it lands perfectly.
But it taps into that though, because you got those people who listen to that sort of music anyway, tapping into Cuddy. They'll all be talking about Cuddy. I remember it from when I was younger. Anyway, like everyone, all like sort of Morocco friends, they love Kid Cuddy because it can tap into that sort of that range, and that's how his popularity grew as well. Because, well, he's like we were all saying, he's very versatile, isn't he? So everyone listens to him really.
Definitely.
And what I was saying before about how when people seem to speak about his career and his influence, that's the sort of song they usually go to, and that sort of content, lyrical content and whatnot. And it is hugely impactful. I'm sure we'll talk about it more later on, but great record.
Also, I was just going to say, like, I've always found Kid Cudi's voice incredible because it's like, it's rough, but not too rough. It's soft, but not too soft. It's just like an extremely palatable voice. And I think that song shows it the best as well.
Oh, I agree with that.
It definitely.
Yeah, I think it worked. It worked in the first era. I think when we come to the next one,
well, don't get me started on the
Speeding
next
bullet,
one.
speeding bullet to the brain. That was such a good line.
Oh,
Sure.
trust.
I was a speeding bullet through my. That's why I was listening to Cobain.
like I said, I had to remind myself of how to do that kind of music.
Oh man, it's just.
Kieran, were you going to say one more thing? Sorry.
No. That was it. I was gonna say that it gets better in Era 3.
I was gonna say my honorable mentions for this album are The Mood and Mojo So Dope.
Oh yes,
Oh,
Mojo.
yeah, the anthem.
Oh
The
goodness
anthem.
me, man! I love that song. Absolutely love that song.
Also, I've always loved Marijuana.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Instrumental on that. is-
That
Yeah.
weird kind of way he's
Beautiful.
whispering and stuff.
yeah,
Pretty
eerie.
green, I was like, yeah. And this is where we started to get the first round of Kid Cudi doing that whole like just making sounds rather than saying words. Like really refined is on Marijuana.
Yeah. And I guess the other track for me that I wanted to mention, it's a very bait one, but it has to be said, is Soundtrack to My Life. I feel like when everyone heard that for the first time, it had a big impact because you're like, whoa, what is this guy saying?
I get what you're saying, but I don't know.
That one, I thought personally, it doesn't have the longevity.
Yeah.
It sounds like an intro track, and I'm cool with that. When I listen to the album, I'll listen to it, but I don't go back to it outside of the album.
No,
I kind of hear that. I'm not gonna lie to you.
But with Man on the Moon too, I like for this, I listened to that from top to bottom, like no problem. I was like, yep, this could hold up today. The only song that really kind of aged badly was Erase Me, but that's just because I feel like Kanye was too controlling on that song. Like that was a Kanye song.
Yeah, I've never liked that one.
It's still good, but I hear what you're saying as well.
Okay, so Era 2.
The song I picked was Brothers.
Yeah, those synths are good.
It's a nice note with that kind of weird stuttery thing that's going on the whole time.
Yeah, why'd you pick it?
The beat, the sort of, I don't know, the sort of place it puts me in. The way Cuddy's verse is brilliant on the end, and obviously the message of like brotherhood and sticking together. It's just like the message is good and all in all. And I don't know, the song just hits with me well, really. And I'm never going to pick from Speeding to whatever that crap album is called. So let's say. So yeah, it's going to be that. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Probably broke my brain when I listened to it.
It's that Brothers track's was one of my honourable mentions. It's one of the few highlights on that album to me because I felt like Indie Cub was a bit of a step. Well, was a noticeable step down.
It was a step down. I mean, it's not. After listening to Indie Cub, it's not bad, is it? It's just it's a step down from the first two. That's a problem.
Yeah,
you start to see the decline.
Well, I want to argue that this was where he started to kind of struggle with his mental health quite a lot.
Definitely.
But we didn't know publicly.
Yep.
So that's why we got this. It was okay, he started struggling, but he still made okay music, and then we get to. We won't speak on that double album.
Yeah.
Speeding bullet to the brain.
This was the first project where he had a lot of the production credits as well. He was really getting into his beat making at the time, and I think I listened to an interview with him saying that he was in quite an angry place, and it's kind of even in that intro track on that album, you can hear it's a bit more intense and it's a bit more aggressive and whatnot. I'm not going to say too much. I don't want to. We're trying to be positive about Cuddy and that, but this era was a bit of a slug. For me, the highlight song that I've got is off of Satellite Flight, and that's Too Bad I Have to Destroy You Now.
Why?
Like I said, it was this era. It was hard to find tracks that I liked, to be honest, if I'm frank. And this one, I think, content-wise, it kind of reflected not just where he was at, but I think how a lot of sort of maybe not the big fans, but the casual fans of Cuddy felt. And he was kind of responding to that. And in fairness to him, he took a risk with the whole Wizard album, trying something different. As we just said, he was, kind of getting more into his production bag with Indicud and was kind of expressing the sort of anger and mental health issues that he was going through, but it weren't being well received. And I feel like this song was just responding to that. And it kind of made me think a little bit about what he was going through. Because I remember at that time I wasn't really feeling Cuddy. I wasn't really feeling him. But then you listen to that and you're like, oh, okay, you're still in there. And then also you got the classic hums. You got the eerie production. I mean, it's a long song and it doesn't really go far enough for me. It gets a little bit boring, and then there's a weird switch at the end and all that. But
that's what I'm saying. I feel like it builds. No,
it builds, but then it doesn't. It's a bit underwhelming to me personally.
No, you're right to say it doesn't go anywhere, but like,
I
just like the way it builds a bit. It gets a bit dancey, and it felt almost like Kanye would have.
Yeah, I was gonna say
like
that. I feel like that's like Kanye. I don't know if Kanye's the Kid Cudi's the reason Kanye sounds like that at that era.
Oh no, definitely he is 100%. You can hear it in everything he does. Right now, he's still in like a Travis Scotty kind of bag, but like you can see who he's working with and how that influenced him. You know.
Yeah. But were they on good terms at the time, him and Kanye? At that point, I feel like Cudi was leaving or had left Good Music, and there was some issues surrounding Yeezus and all that. But
things were pretty shit around then for all of them.
Do you know there was? I read one thing. You know, Kid Cudi's on Guilt Trip in the ending. Yeah. It was like some old take that Cudi had recorded in the studio that he didn't actually want used or anything. It was like a random one take thing, and Kanye put it on the track and released it. And Cudi was like vexed because he's like, I could have re-recorded that and sung it so much better and stuff like that. But
I feel like Kanye does shit like that on purpose. Because he's like, oh, I'm not on good terms with you, but I really want this song to come out. And he's especially where he owns. I don't know how much of their catalog or whatever he owns, but I'm pretty sure legally he was allowed to do that because they were signed to him and stuff, you know?
It was probably recorded in his studio, so it's like, it's his work.
Yeah.
And I feel like Cudi is, he's rapping on that track as well. Finds a nice little pocket and goes off a little bit. And it's a bit of a shock when you're listening to that album. You don't expect it. It's like, oh, okay. He's going in a little bit.
I knew from the first listen, when I listened to it however many years ago now, 5-6 years ago, when as soon as he said rejuvenated, I was like, oh, we're about to get raps. I was like, oh, this is about to be some raps.
Yeah. It was a sort of brief return to form within a
Defo.
I
agree.
Kind of, going off the ball a little bit. That's what I mean by kind of whatever I was talking about. You know what? These songs is the things they're picking are putting me into a bit of a mellow vibe. You know, I'm a bit like.
I feel like that's Cudi's whole vibe,
nice,
isn't it?
man.
That's Cudi's whole vibe.
That's why on your headphones you need to set it as mellow, man. That's what I did, and it took me to the moon, man. Jeez.
As long as I'm not asleep.
I'll tell you what, this era is hard to pick from, so I just went with the most obvious pick. I went with Just What I Am. Because to me,
I knew it. I knew you.
To me, I didn't have anything else to pick, you know, that I really liked. So yeah, enjoy this little throwback. It's a big song. That song reminds me of the summer we finished sixth form. It was. Yeah, I remember it was like the middle.
Yeah, it did come out.
Yeah, it came out like middle to end of summer. I remember listening to it in like my car, listening to it like out, like when people were like having kickbacks and we were smoking. Everyone used to smoke back then. And yeah, that song I don't know. I wouldn't say it takes me back, but it definitely, the vibe will always hold that weight. And I felt like that song was used in so many films around that time, which were like, you know, like Project X and all these kind of films which were like about the type of things. Oh, Theo's dying. But yeah, all the things that were happening around that time kind of all was sucked into that one song. Like it felt like that song was.
It's very off that time.
Yeah, it holds that time well. Like it
does. No, defo. It connects still.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely holds now. That's for sure.
And I feel like what I've got written down in my notes is it's honest and anthemic, which is like the best of like era one Kid Cudi.
Defo. Yeah.
So like
the chorus is weird as well, like the vocal mix. And,
oh man, the humming. I wanted to get to the end, but I didn't want to get to the end where he's just humming at the end. But yeah.
Kieran, you said something in the chat, but it feels necessary that King Chip, aka Chip the Ripper's, come up a few times, man. He's been there throughout Cudi's career.
Yeah, he's a key player,
constant collaborator. Yeah. I feel like he's been on 4 out of the 5, 6 picks we've made so far.
Except the past 3 albums that
Cuddy's done like Era 3. He's basically on the whole of Cuddy's discography.
Yeah, he was on my pick. He's been on both my picks actually. LOL. Who else's pick was he on? I feel like he was on someone else's.
Theo's. He was on Theo's as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was on my pick. Yeah.
Okay, God. It is Kieran.
I know one from Kieran.
I was.
He's
I
gonna
wanted
pick
to
something for a
play-
speeding bullet to the brain.
Oh no.
No. I actually
no.
wasn't. Look, I like Confused. That's the only one I would have picked, but I'm not gonna do it to everyone.
If that's what you like, that's what you like, man.
No, I'm
Yeah,
not.
if you
I'm
want
not.
to-
I'm not. Don't worry. I was gonna also pick "Teleport to Me, Jamie" from Wizard, which I thought was the best song on the album. But I'm not sure. Like, I kind of want to get a pick me up, like "Immortal" on Indiecud. So I'm debating between those two. I think I'm gonna do "Teleport to Me, Jamie" though, just because I think that song's quite underrated and not spoken about enough in his discography.
I'm not mad at that pick, you know.
Likewise.
It was listenable.
Sean looks really kind of irked by that pick though. Your whole face is a bit, you know what I mean, a bit sideways.
No, look, it's a tough era to pick from, but I'm not gonna act like I like Cuddy, but I don't really.
That song
I
went
don't
bad
fuck with
though.
that song.
It's not for everyone.
That song's not
It wasn't
bad.
that bad. I thought it was alright, you know.
It was hitting the right notes for me.
It sounds good.
Yeah.
I didn't. It's not abrasive to the ears. It's
It's not
chill.
the worst.
It's smooth.
No,
Yeah.
exactly. Thought it was decent. To be fair.
Sean is like, fuck all you guys.
It was listenable.
Listenable, man.
This thing is
Jeez.
that song
Man's
grows on you.
taken-
I
yeah.
didn't like it on my first listen, but I kept going back to it for some reason because I was like, all right, that was the one that stood out on that album.
I feel like maybe Sean's never like wanted to like lust after somebody. Like he's just like one of them cold-hearted robotic
It's
people.
definitely a lustful song.
It is. That's the thing. Sean's never been there. Like, you know what? I need you. You know, I want. Sean's just like, nah, fuck that bitch. She's gone.
What is that narrative?
That's why he's not vibing with the song. That was an emotional song, you know.
It was emotional. I don't know what
Maybe,
Sean's thinking.
Maybe I need a few more listens, like you say. Like I've not heard that album since it came out. I can't even remember the song. So.
I wouldn't say to go back and listen to it. It'll make you
Yeah, I
upset.
don't think. But Kieran, have you got anything more to say about that track?
I think what's interesting is his label wanted him to release Man on the Moon 3 at that time, straight after number 2, and they were kind of blocking this album as well. So when the album came out, they didn't put this out as the single, even though, like on radio, even though it was the lead single. So I feel like it would have done a lot better, and we would have all known it better as well if the label was supportive.
Okay. Yeah, it felt like the one thing I'll give Kid Cudi during this era is he was brave.
Theo
you know.
gone. Wait, hold
Theo's
on.
Dips. He hated the song that much.
He just
Fucking
fell over.
dip.
He just had too much wine.
Got it now. Anyway, we continue.
What were you saying?
Yeah, I feel like the credit I've got to give him is that he was brave, and he tried new things, and he wasn't he wasn't shying away from really kind of wearing his influences on his sleeve and just giving other stuff a go.
Can I ask you
a
something?
shame. Yeah.
I'm not going to take insult. Like, it's obviously like Cuddy's quite personal to me, but like, why aren't you feeling that song?
Or that song.
Yeah, just like break it down. Be specific.
Break
That's
it
what this
down,
is
be
for.
specific. I mean, like I said, it's pretty much the first time I've heard it because I can't remember the first time I heard it. I can't really be too specific for you. It's just it's just not doing it for me. The vocals aren't anything special. The production's not anything,
Nah,
Can't break it down for you.
This
It's not
is the thing. Like,
it's
yeah, fair enough. That's how you feel. I think
yeah.
personally, for me, like when you come into Kid Cudi music, there's like the generic kind of stuff. Like we've heard a few stuff that I feel like anyone else could make, but this is like only Kid Cudi would actually make this tune. And I feel like, I don't know, you kind of have to be open to his weirdness. Because it is pretty weird.
I had in my notes that I was gonna say after IndieCud, he went on like a journey of like ruin and self-discovery. It was like a mix of the two, because it was like to a person like Sean, he was ruining his career, but to someone like Kieran, he was like discovering himself. And to me, I was seeing both sides of it. I was like, some of this is good, some of this needs to go in the bin, but yeah, it wasn't a welcome journey for me, to be honest. It was definitely
Isn't it possible to be open but also just to not think something's that good?
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
I've not once said the song's bad. I just didn't do
I
much
said
for me,
literally the first thing I said when the song stopped was it's not for everyone.
Yeah. It was okay. It was all right.
Oh, he's back.
Maybe if I listen to it a few more times, I'll enjoy it more. Yeah.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
What happened for you?
The thing tried to drop me out, man. The laptop died. I don't know what happened, man. The thing was plugged in as well.
It's called low battery.
Yeah, no shit.
Okay, well, on to Era 3 then.
Wow. I need a pick me up. I need some energy. So my pick is By Design.
3 stack.
Yeah, like I said, man, it's a highlight and a much needed bit of energy from that project, I think. Passion, Pain and Demon Slaying was definitely for me it was better than the last couple of projects, at least last 2 or 3, but it's a bit, for me personally, it's a bit of a slug.
This one brought you back to Cuddy.
This track was like, oh, okay, Cuddy's still got it. Like the album itself, it starts off quite good, but then to me, gets a bit samey and a bit boring, and then this is like a pick me up in the album. I love the hook, the beat's nice, Pharrell's obviously, I love the keys in it. Yeah, man, it was just, like I said, it was just some much needed energy, not just sort of among these tracks that we picked tonight, but in that album as well.
Okay, nice. Who's next?
I don't mind going next.
Okay,
I'll switch it up.
Yeah,
because I only had 2 picks anyway. I'll
Kieran from Mordor.
Play Lovin' Me. play Lovin' Me on his newest album.
Explanations.
I find that song therapeutic. I like that music.
I feel like Sean's got a very controversial thing to say. He once again doesn't look pleased with that.
No, I don't. It just send me into a little mellow zone again, man.
Sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
I feel like
I thought you were gonna say send me to sleep, man.
No. It's a good track.
Yeah,
it's a good track. I like it. It's just, this is a chilled one. This is like, I need myself a little herbal tea, man.
I feel like with this one, though, he's like, because the story of the album, he's overcome it by this stage, and I feel like it's that mellow mood again, but it's in a positive way instead of like that lost way. You don't feel like sad for him after this song.
Okay.
No, I get what you mean.
That's my opinion anyway.
Yeah, it feels like this whole era is if you had to kind of split the eras into arcs, the first era was like of his career was like dealing with, it was innocence, but there's trauma in there as well, and then the middle one is like addiction and obviously, you know, mental health struggles, and then this one feels like rehabilitation, like he's really like on an upwards trajectory at this point, and I get what you mean. It is therapeutic. Yeah. Sorry, Theo, go ahead.
I was going to say Theo's pick.
Theo's not said much actually.
Well, oh no, it was nice. No, honestly, no. Oh no, because I think this era is the return of Cuddy, really. Because like as Sean said, I think era 2 was where you saw his struggles and he really started to struggle. But this is the era of the comeback, and especially with his latest album, you start feeling like Cuddy is back in a place where he produces some of his best work, really. Well, can produce that and get back to the heights of where he was at the beginning of his career. So I'm happy for Cuddy. The song I'm going to pick is quite dark, but it's just, I don't know, it just, how can I explain it? It hits with me because there's a positive message at the end of it that he's coming out, and it's The Void. That's the song I'm going to pick. yeah, I just feel that song hits home and can hit home with a lot of people, especially with the current climate and just with everything that's going on. It's just a lot of people are probably feeling exactly like that and will just go into that song and feel it right at the end. But like I said, at the end, at least there's a positive message at the end of it that is coming out. It's not all so dark. Obviously, yes, it's a very dark song, but at the end you get that light, that like, especially when he's saying, "Oh God, thank you," and it talks about like spirituality and faith and just bringing him out of that sort of void, that you're not alone. Obviously, especially with how it is with the lockdown, because there's a lot of people that are alone and they'll be feeling like that, and it's a horrible situation. But I feel like if they listen to that song, I don't know, it's that can help them bring themselves out of that void and they can relate to it. And I don't know, it's so well done. It's so well done because you get that sort of feeling on the song, the emotion, everything to do with about it. You getting yourself in that place, and I don't know. I just think it's fantastic. Really, I think it's one of the best songs of the album. So
I think it's one of his best choruses he's done as well.
yeah,
It's massive, like stadium chorus, really.
Yeah, you're right. It's got that anthem type feel to it. Have you listened to it in the car yet, anyone?
no, I've not listened to
It's
it.
a car track. Honestly, I'm telling you now, long journey.
Where
Weekend
am
the album
where am
came
I
out.
going? I have nowhere to go. It's a pandemic outside, my guy.
The weekend it came out, I had to take a long trip and like a fairly long trip, and that song was definitely elevated. It's dangerous though because you can sort
Fall
of,
into the void.
Get where you are.
Yeah.
You could fall
But
into the void.
It's a vibe. It's a vibe.
Right. Well,
Sam wrapping it off.
yeah, I'm picking for the new album too, but I'm going for the more upbeat kind of side of things. So hopefully that wakes us all up for the end section of this. But yeah, I'm going with Tequila Shots.
Ooh.
Dun, 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 dun. As he falls back deeper into a state.
Why'd you pick it?
Yeah. I don't know. Just it felt like that song for me summed up the whole album, even though it's the second song on the album. It's kind of like he's talking about the fight in him, the war in him, like as in, you know, obviously when there's war, there's winners and losers, but there's always a casualty. And I feel like the casualty he's talking about in that fight, in that war, was his career. And then obviously the fight and the war in him kind of, as he was saying, as the story goes, hey, he's like, forget what's happened previously. I'm here now and I'm doing this. And when I was kind of doing the research for this this discography, I found out that was the first song he recorded off this album. So I don't know when he recorded it, but it must have been when he'd just got to a point where he's like, cool, I'm gonna make not better music, but I'm gonna make music that's more me again. I know that sounds weird to say because obviously he's always making music that's him, but that felt like it could have easily gone on Man in the Moon 2, maybe even Man in the Moon 1. It fit in so nicely.
Yeah,
that
completely
I picked
agree
that.
with that.
And also the humming, you know what I mean? He brought back the classic hum, really nice and subtle. And it doesn't say it anywhere on the internet, but I searched for myself. That song kind of interpolates Swagger Like Us. Kanye West has a similar kind of thing where he's going. I could play it for you now if you wanted to hear it, but yeah,
Play it. I'm interested.
Yeah,
So the bit I'm talking about is I'll play the bit from this song first. So
Once I've got some nerve.
So this bit.
Oh.
Yeah.
yeah.
Don't think I'm not sorry.
If we get to Swagger Like Us.
Be the shit and a urine, trying to get that Kobe number, 1 over Jordan.
So yeah, as soon as I heard this song, I was like, ooh, you know what I mean? It's taking me back, but I was like, I like that.
Nostalgia, right?
Yeah.
I was like, and you pieced it together because I was wondering where that was from.
Yeah, it bugged me because I was walking while I was listening to this to Man on the Moon 3, and I was like, where do I know that whole thing? I was like, where do I know it from? And it started bugging me, and I was in my head singing it. I'm like, what song is that? Like, it bugged the fuck out of me, and I figured it out like 2 days ago. So
That's a good spot.
Yeah, that's why I picked it. I think I'm ahead of Genius on that one.
And just on a simple one, the beat just knocks.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just
big time.
It gets your head going.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that's a nice track, that one.
One thing I'd like to say about this album, the Man on the Moon 3 album, it's a good album. It's the first good album he's released in about 10 years. Let's be honest.
I agree.
That is very
I agree.
true.
Yeah,
But also,
that's-
Kids See Ghost though. Didn't you like that?
I mean, Kanye did a bit too much on that album. That ruined
yeah,
it for
I
me.
agree with that. Definitely.
A lot
I think
of the
he was
screaming.
too. Yeah.
I wasn't feeling all that. I wasn't.
I liked Kids See Ghosts. I like that one.
It was a good moment,
I
but
liked
it
it.
definitely that none of those songs are going with me. You know, I'm not taking any of them away.
Oh, really?
Nah, maybe
There's one that I
Reborn.
think is classic. Yeah.
Reborn.
Yeah, Reborn. That's it.
Cuddy Montage.
Nah, I don't.
Nah.
I really.
No, I could
I
lose that.
I can't fuck with that album because Kanye ruins it in places, which is weird because he did pretty okay on Ye on his own album. He didn't
Yeah,
destroy
he
his
did,
own
but
album.
don't you feel he was rushing through like albums at that period?
It was quick.
He
It
was
too
he was
quick.
just like reeling off albums non-stop. Like
4 albums came out in like
Yeah.
a 4-month period, no, or
Yeah, exactly.
5-month
That's-
I
period.
think it was 6 even. I
Oh
swear
my
it was
God.
like 6
It
or
was
7.
ridiculous.
Was it 6?
Everybody on the label dropped an album.
It was Pusha, Kanye. I want to say Kids See Ghosts. It was
Tiana.
Nas,
yeah.
Tiana Taylor. So I think it was 5.
No, there's gotta be another one.
And it was all around Drake's release, and
It was terrible. It was
a
really
messy time.
Yeah.
We got
Messy
some
time.
gold out of that, but
we
not
we
on
got
Oh, no, we did, because
we got
look at
story.
Look at
We got-
Pusha T's
yeah,
album.
yeah,
every
yeah.
single beat was on point, but then I just feel like as it went on, the bit like you could tell there was areas that were just rushed. Like we talked like with Nas's album, like he thought it would work, and it just I don't know. The longevity of the album just went. I mean, I liked it when I first listened to it, but then you just I don't know, just didn't sit right, and you can hear that it was. I don't know. Kanye was just trying to get every single album out. You could tell he was.
But he did make some hits in those times because if you know,
Oh, no,
you
he
know.
did. Yeah,
That's a
he
timeless
did.
song,
Oh.
but it's Pusha's song, you know. And I guess Cuddy and him had figured out the issues, but not well enough to make good music again.
Nah, Reborn's classic. Reborn's classic. Love that one. Kieran,
What's Kieran got to do?
What?
have you
What's
not
that?
picked yours yet?
He did.
I went
Yeah,
early,
Kieran
Sean.
picked.
He went first or
Oh
second.
my god.
I mellowed you out.
Yeah, he picked that
Oh
singy
shit! You
song.
actually did put me in a zone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Oh.
transported
Phoebe
you, took you to
I'm
moon.
not gonna lie.
Safely landed you back in bed.
Yeah, certainly, man.
Yeah, he played "Loving Me."
I know. I remember now. I remember. So I guess I feel like starting with you, Kieran, because I might be wrong, but I feel like you are the biggest fan out of all of us here. What do you think of Cuddy's overall discography and his career to date? Like, how would you describe it?
To be honest, I think it's great. I think he's one of the most experimental artists of the past 10 years. Like that's that's facts. Even if the experiments didn't go well in the middle period, I feel like they had like side effects to other songs he made. Like the way Mr. Rager is so rocky, he goes into the rock element and it's like, okay, cool. It's not that great, but then he brings it all back. I feel like Loving Me is quite a rock based song, just with the progressions, and I'm doing my monologue.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
I feel
No,
but
don't do that.
no.
Sorry.
On a genuine one, I don't actually feel like I'm the biggest Cuddy fan here. I feel like we've all got our own Cuddy that we like. Like I can see from everyone's picks what they enjoy from him. I feel like Sean might be a little bit jaded still, but other than that, we're all feeling him. But yeah, that's my monologue.
I guess for me, one thing I'll say is I think when you're a Cuddy fan once, you're a Cuddy fan for life. So what I mean is like you said, I think we've all got certain tracks or certain, types of Cuddy that we all gravitate towards more. And I feel like even though the middle of his career he veered off, none of us we didn't ditch him. Do you know what I mean? It was like, okay, he's going to be back one day. Or when he did release something, we would get into it quickly because it's Cuddy. For me, like I agree with you. I think he's one of the most experimental and brave artists, especially big name mainstream artists over the last 10, 12 years. It hasn't always worked, but you can't deny the influence, especially on the rappers that we've seen come out over the last 5 years, especially. Even if it's not conscious, there's certain doors, I think, and barriers that Cuddy broke through. And I mean, let's put it this way: without Cuddy, would we have got 808s the same as it came out to, as it ended up being? Would Drake have still popped off the way he did?
Well, that's what I'm about to say. I'm about to say, I feel like he made being like an addict, like an openly functioning addict, kind of cool. Because that's what most of the new generation is. They're just functioning addicts. You know what I mean? They're just
okay to talk about, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what I mean.
Like not being scared
to hide.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and actually you can express it in your music and not fear that like people are going to judge you in a certain way. Like that's I think he definitely broke down that barrier.
Yeah, he did.
Because there's a lot more artists. Yeah,
I think it's important to say though that vulnerability has always been there in hip hop. I mean, you go back as far as the Ghetto Boys and Scarface. Songs like remind me the name. Sorry, the Cuddy songs have made me go all blank and whatnot. I mean, my brain's
Mind
all
Playing
fuzzy.
Tricks. Are you talking about
Mind Playing Tricks? Is it Never Seen It or Seen a Man Die or whatever?
Yeah.
I think Cuddy even said that inspired Day and Night, that song.
That's interesting.
So rappers have been vulnerable for as long as we can remember, but there was always like that thug element or the gangster element or the macho.
Yeah, but I'm saying he's vulnerable for the whole album. He's not vulnerable for one song. Do you see what I mean?
No, I know. Yeah.
exactly.
It's that, but it's also there was no like, but I'm still tough or like I'd still do this. It was just this is me.
Yeah, but it's not
how I
soft.
feel.
It's not soft in a Drake sense of like, oh, I'm in my bedroom crying.
that's
Why
true.
did you? It's just, bro, I'm feeling fucked up. That's what Cuddy's like. He's like, I'm feeling real fucked up right now. Shit's not great, but hey.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
What were you gonna say?
No, I was just going to say, with Cuddy being like that, I feel like a lot more people were able to relate to him because of that as well. And it's credit to Cuddy, really, for being that brave to be able to express himself in his music like that. And that's why I think a lot of people gravitate towards him because of that. Because, like we're saying, obviously, yes, there is vulnerability in hip-hop, as we're saying, but to be that expresses about it, it just knocks down barriers because people are scared to feel that certain way. And then when they've got an artist like that, oh, hey, like I've got an artist like that, it makes them feel a certain type of way and gives them inspiration. And I think Cuddy's done a lot for that, and it's been great, really. Yes, the middle part of his career wasn't great, but to be honest with him, I can't really knock him about that because he was brave to try something. He'll probably happily admit that it wasn't the right move, but credit to him for trying a different sound and going to that place because he wanted to see if he could do something different and if it would work, and it didn't work. So, and now I'm happy that with this latest album that we got, it's great, and I'm just happy that he's back in a good place and he's coming and he's making good music. So that's what I've got to say, really.
I would also say I wouldn't be mad if this was his last album. I think this sometimes I'm not saying you have to know when to stop type thing, but if he were to just stop releasing music and be like, listen, I'm already rich, I'm gonna go invest in some shit or build a business somewhere, I'd be like, you know what, you made a good a good journey here. You had a good trajectory. And also, obviously, 3 is normally the final of a trilogy. He's not going to do a Lil Wayne and be on the cards 5, 6, Man on the Moon 9. He's not going to do that. I hope.
He does say at the end of the album to be continued, which is interesting, but maybe he's just like, it's a never ending journey as well. You can take it like that.
This is true.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I did want to say, I think he's maybe going to do a collab album with Travis. Like,
He is.
Oh, the Scots.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
No, that's confirmed. I'm sure it is.
I'm looking forward to that.
Definitely doing an album.
Hopefully, because like, this is the thing as well. Cuddy influenced Travis, and I feel like I don't even know if Travis would be the same artist he is now if he didn't.
I don't think he would
take Cuddy's style because, like, Al Ferro's weird, and it's not like the Travis we know, but the Travis we know is actually very similar to Cuddy.
Is that the tape with Upper Echelon on?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard. Do you know what? I'm glad you said Travis, because how could we not talk about Travis Scott when talking about Cuddy? But I think you're right. I think that had it not been for Cuddy, we may not have even got Travis Scott. Do you get what I mean? Because he's actually came out and said that, Kid Cudi saved my life and he did this and he did that, blah, blah, blah. Whereas what I meant with a Drake is we still would have got Drake. It's just would people have been as accepting of the melodies and the different type of vulnerability that Drake has shown? I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
It's
Drake was always going to be big, but
he's an instrumental part. All 5, I would say, of these people were mentioned. So 5 would be Kanye, Cuddy, Drake, and this sounds a bit weird to say, but then J. Cole, Travis, right? The reason why I put J. Cole after Drake is because they came up around the same time, but they were talking about themselves more than they were talking about like, I go bust guns, I do this. Do you know what I mean? J. Cole was obviously a storyteller and whatever. He's not like Kendrick. Kendrick does talk about that whole bust guns, shoot this, blah blah blah. But like J. Cole's like telling like very frank stories and like free stories. But without Cuddy in that kind of bridging gap between, you know, Kanye, Cuddy, then them, I don't think any of these people would have had a chance, because it would have just been like, oh, Kanye West was interesting. Okay, back to gangster rap now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he brought stoner rap to the front of things, and with stoner rap came like this whole kind of hippie vibe of like anything goes, man. You know, like fuck it, like.
Well, there's Wiz Khalifa and Currency and all that came out at that time too.
I had to get onto Wiz after listening to Higher. I went and listened to Wiz Khalifa straight away.
What was that mixtape again? What was it called? The famous one. I've got to look it up now.
The one with car service on it, where it's this girl rolling papers on the front.
No.
Orange, is it Orange?
Oh, Cushion Orange Juice.
Yeah. Cushion Orange Juice.
Don't play any of those on. Oh man.
No, I'm not playing.
No, I'm saying some of the songs, on there, have been remixed because they couldn't clear the samples and they sound so bad.
Oh, no.
But yeah,
Wait for that.
that mixtape's amazing.
Yeah, man. Cuddy is incredibly important. I think incredibly important. Even if not all of it was for me, but I can't not say that he's as influential as he is.
This is true. But yeah,
I don't think we do get the
mad.
Scots.
Like he's actually only been active for about 13, 14 years.
I know,
released
which
music.
which
It's not
does
even.
seem.
It's not that long. at
No,
all.
it's not. When you think of it, it's not that long.
The thing is as well, what I didn't realize when we were listening to him, he was in terms of rappers, he was an old rapper at the time. He was like 22, 23. So realistic, maybe we caught him in that whole quarter life crisis of the those other little albums. Obviously, I don't want to say midlife because I hope he doesn't die at 50 something, but you know what I mean. So we caught him in that quarter life crisis, and we've all been there, been through that, and it's like if you're a musician, that I guess that's what comes out. Especially when you had the freedom he had at those times. It wasn't like, I don't think he was really trapped in a proper label deal. Like, he was signed to Good Music, then he wasn't signed to Good Music. So I think he was in a space where he could just, do you know what I mean, drop some albums.
Yeah.
That's because he left. I think he left his label after Man on the Moon 2. It made him like a free agent.
But that's what, I think that's what led to these albums. Because otherwise, what could have happened is we could have got a forced Man on the Moon 3. And
it wouldn't have been as good as the one we got.
It wouldn't have worked.
No,
it would have been the end of him rather than like a kind of, well, I don't know. What's the word Sean's been using to describe it? A blip in his career?
He might not have even been alive, to be honest, now, if he had to do that. Because I don't think that was like that.
I don't know.
It set him on such a negative path.
I don't know
after that album.
I don't know if he struggled with suicide or not. I know he struggled with his just
Well,
mental state of
bro,
mood.
listen to Speeding Bullet to Heaven properly.
Oh,
that album is
Exactly.
actually just suicide in 20 something songs. It's mad.
No, thank you.
Well,
sir.
he said when he was on the coke a lot, he did say that part of the reason why he was taken with drugs was because he was having suicidal thoughts, and he says, I can either do that or I can take drugs. And he went for the drugs. So he has had them thoughts before, and he was a bit off the rails. I remember for a few years with sort of like calling out other artists, and
Didn't he beef
there
with
was a
Drake?
beef with Drake. I think Lupe told him to watch
No,
his mouth.
I was just about to. No, I was just about to bring that up because Lupe still doesn't forgive him for that. Because Lupe, even like, who did Lupe say that he could forgive? There was someone he fell out with and he's fine, but he said never Cuddy. He said Cuddy's the one. Kid Cudi's the one person he could never forgive anymore because they fell out badly. So yeah.
I remember Drake said something about going rehab and all this and that, or somebody said something like that.
Drake made fun of him. I swear Drake made fun of him.
And I feel like that
about it.
didn't sit well with anybody. Everyone's like, you can't say them things, man. He's trying to get better. Do you know what I
We
mean?
all know Drake's a dick, though.